Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships continue on in the desert. Welcome back to Tucson and the beautiful purpose-built facility on the campus of the University of Arizona as we've entered the contenders bracket. The Oregon Ducks at the number 9 against the Washington Huskies at the number 7. Now look at the winners bracket and how it lays out. Those that have been victorious today: UCLA and Arizona, straight set winners. USC and Arizona State, straight set winners as well. And a look at the contenders bracket. Our first one is Oregon and Washington. Winner of this will get Cal, and that will happen tomorrow. And Stanford and Utah will face off, or pardon me, today at 4. And Stanford and Utah will face off today at 3. As you can tell, much more volleyball action to come. We're finishing up our roundup here. Kevin Barnett alongside Kevin Wong. And Kevin, rebounding from a loss in this kind of format, a dual elimination format, how do you change things around coming off of an early loss in the morning and reset for an opportunity to continue in the tournament?
I think it's a challenge for both of these teams because of that. They lost, firstly. Now it's a lot hotter than it was earlier in the day. And I think the third thing, we saw the brackets. Not only do they have to play this match, you got to win, and you're thinking about one more match against Cal later on today. This is going to be a big challenge for both teams.
Washington Huskies, a team that has not played very long in beach volleyball. They got started late, but this is a team that comes in with some terrific momentum and some awesome athletes on their side. They, again, like last year, are going this direction.
Yeah, this is a team on the rise, a program on the rise. They're building the beach side to go with all the excellence they've had on the indoor side. The question is, talking to the coach, talking to the staff, talking to the whole team, this is a team that hasn't had a lot of experience in the sun, specifically. Cool up in the Pacific Northwest but for both of these programs. So big challenges here in this set.
Oregon went down in a close matchup with Utah early in the morning. UCLA put the hammer to Washington in the mid part of the afternoon or the morning session. And now these two teams will meet. We'll start out with the number 1 pair as all 5 are playing at one time. If you joined us earlier today, you know that this has been happening all day, that we're playing all 5 pairs at once. If you just joined us, welcome to Tucson and the best volleyball in the Pac-12. Tia Scambray hammers it down the line, and it's dug. That's Brooke Van Sickle. Scambray with some defense. Well, a lot of swings right away to warm up for Scambray. No, not one more. A little craft from her partner, Chrissy Jones.
And that's the kind of play from Chrissy Jones that shows you maybe some of the beach roots that she's played over the course of her career.
High-performance beach development program for Chrissy Jones, in addition to her excellent indoor play for the Dogs. Van de Weide. Good idea, but just Weide. Let's take a look at the rules and how this lays out. Okay, 2-21. If necessary, a third set to 15, win by 2. It's a double elimination. You know that this is an elimination duel between these two teams as they're in the contenders bracket already. 5 matches going on. It's best 3 of 5 matches if you are going to be victorious in the duel.
And in some ways, this matchup between these two and the format of the double elimination, it's a throwback. It shows a lot of respect towards the golden years of beach volleyball, where it wasn't just about a mad rush and sprint at the beginning. It was about pacing yourself over the long course of a long day. And today we're going to see one of these two teams not only just play 2 matches, but 3. And that's not something you see very much in collegiate beach volleyball.
Cue the old guys saying, well, they should play side-out scoring then. Where they talk about, we used to have 3.5-hour duels till the sun came down and we had the lights on from the cars and something from Point Break. Okay. All right. Moving along, it's rally score and been that for a while. Huskies in the foreground. Scambray again hammers another. And if you've watched her indoors, you've seen a lot of that from Tia Scambray.
Football family. Hence the power. Father Mark played football at Fresno State. Her brother Shane plays at Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart have a dog mascot? Fresno Bulldogs, Washington Huskies. You had to keep it all in the family. You have to find somewhere else to be.
I think they're the Poodles. The
Schnauzers?
Poodles. the Min Pins of Sacred Heart.
They are now. Doesn't matter. They are now. 3-4, set number 1. Lindsay Van de Weide. Another one of these athletes to step right out of high school and make an impact in the Pac-12. Been a starter for 2 seasons for the Ducks. And now under new head coach Matt Ulmer. Jim Moore moving on. Matt Ulmer, his assistant, taking over there at the Ducks, both on the beach side but also in the upcoming fall season. On the indoor side, Van de Weyde pops that one up. Opportunity for Scambray and Jones. Softly done. Again, Jones on 2, taking advantage of that opportunity. Wind picking up. Tia Scambray getting it right in the face.
Yeah, for the first time, we have a true good side. That would be camera, the background of the camera, with the wind blowing at the backs of our foreground players, and you can see all the school flags on the far right. Not on cam, but little beach volleyball. We talked to the volleyball gods, and here we're getting a little wind.
All the Huskies starting on one side as you look at Matt Ulmer, first season as Ducks head coach, and himself a college setter for Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and they're in the Carthage Hall of Fame, leader in assists and aces all time for that school. If you don't know where Kenosha is, it's about 45 minutes north of Chicago along the lakefront. Beautiful setting there along the lakefront in southern Wisconsin. Washington, all their teams on the good side right now to start these matches. They're all on the north side of the court, as the wind has definitely picked up. This is the most we've seen all day long.
Yeah, they might have to give a little support to some of those wind flags. This is the highest speeds we've seen, and you can see because of it, some of these services going long, getting carried with the wind gust going forward.
When the wind picks up, how would you change your game as a player? What would you do if you had the good side and all of a sudden there's wind?
I think you get really aggressive on the good side, serving into the wind like Washington is right now. I think the other side is you try to play lower, pass lower, set lower, and that's one of the difficulties, especially for both of these programs. They're not beach first programs. They don't get reps with that, and so probably using a higher system that you would see more typically indoors.
2 teams from the Pacific Northwest meeting in the desert. Keep an eye on these matchups and see how the heat becomes a factor midday. Both teams playing their second matchup of the day. Scambray getting the serve at 7-7. Going cross court and just wide. Jonathan Winder, head coach for the Huskies, in just his second season, said that we do the best we can. Everything ended well in 2016. We had a good ride to the end. We have a solid group of kids working together, and we're only getting better.
A good crop of young coaches that are entering into the Pac-12, both indoor, mostly indoor, and it's caused some trickle-down effects. Keegan Cook, you talked about him at Washington. A lot of people were questioning, look at this guy, so young, is he ready for a position? Pac-12 champions. Same things being said about Matt Ulmer, I'm sure, but you know, you talk to different players, they're just so stoked on the connection they have with him. He's got an ability to build chemistry in the squad, and he recruited a number of them.
Responsible for recruiting as we look at some of the other scores happening. Destiny July and Courtney Schwann playing well against August Rasky and Taylor August. The August twins. Strickland and DeHoog against Johnson and Silberger Franek. It's 9-9 over there on court 3. And here on court 1, it's close action. Van de Weyde and Van Sickle now tied with Jones and Scambray.
Washington, both players pretty big and pretty physical. On the other side, you've got the blend, the young Brooke Van Sickle. Maybe the biggest question mark here, just a freshman. How's she going to handle the pressure? She gets a lot of serves.
Like a lot of players, Van Sickle with that junior youth national team experience. And you see a little heat there, the fire up against Chrissy Jones. There's no intimidation factor for Brooke Van Sickle. Outside hitter NDS at 5'9" on the indoor side of the game.
We share a couple of hobbies, sports and sleeping.
No wonder you didn't know all those Hawaiian paddlers I was naming off earlier. Music playing throughout at what is an electric scene for beach volleyball. Truly terrific atmosphere, definitely better than indoors, and that coming from an indoor player.
Wow,
I'd like to listen to music and be out in the sun. Be nice. Instead, I'm stuck under the harsh lights, getting pastier by the moment.
And I apologize for making you wear shoes. You were about ready to walk out here with your flip-flops, and then you took a look at what I'm a little more professional with my shoes coming in here.
The question is, are you on the beach or you're not on the beach? And it depends on the facility. This one, they are on the beach. We are not. It is a fantastic facility. The crowd enjoying it. A whole bunch of fans up in the stands, as well as bringing their own chairs. The casual atmosphere, really enjoyable at beach volleyball. But Matt Ulmer, he's at work in his first season as head coach. 5th overall in the program as he talks to his #1 pair, and then 2nd season for Jonathan Winder. Assistant on the indoor side for Keegan Cook, head of the beach program, came up from Southern California, attended Pepperdine University and was coaching there before Keegan Cook offered him the opportunity in Seattle. 11-10. Technical timeout happening on court 1. Jonathan Winder, Pepperdine All-American, national team member, played professionally overseas for a number of years.
You know, I think is exciting about guys like him coming to the beach side in coaching is they bring a different level and different looks at how to coach on the beach. You know, typically beach coaches have been beach guys, so maybe not as technical, maybe not as much video, maybe not as much stats, but these guys are under and Jim McLaughlin, one of the most metric-oriented coaches around, and they have a different attention to detail, what really sticks out in their minds.
Gold medal squared, expanding into the beach area.
Are they?
Well, they must, because Keegan Cook is a gold medal squared guy. You know, Jonathan Winder has to be on board. Now he's on the beach. GM2 forever.
You a card-carrying member?
No. One day, I aspire.
Marv Dunphy in that group as well.
Yep. Definitely benefited from the late Carl McGowan, who had an effect on so many throughout the volleyball community, the godfather of the gold medal squared philosophy, and someone that made a difference for me in my professional career. Definitely a philosophy that I like, enjoy, and has been beneficial to a lot of athletes, but not the only way. Art of Coaching Volleyball is another one that's out there. Terry Liskevich, part of the founding of that.
Russ Rose, John Dunning.
Part of the evolution of the game. That one trickles over, and Van de Weyde Van Sickle are in the lead.
I heard some terminology from different coaches this week that I've never heard in my 22+ years of playing on the beach, broadcasting on the beach. A quadrant of blocking. I didn't know what that was, but you know, I'm not saying that there's going to be improvement for sure, right? There's got to be improvement as you see more eyes taking different looks in their own perspective at the beach game.
For those that don't know, beach volleyball has largely been an organic development, not only over the last few years for collegiate beach volleyball in terms of its growth, but for the game itself, coming out of Southern California in a very casual atmosphere and then being professionalized and now going through the international game and the international tour. It looks like in the United States a national team model is kind of taking hold on the professional side rather than players just picking their own partners and doing their own thing every day. It has definitely been an evolution of the sport, and my question to you, Kev, is what will be the effect, and maybe you already covered it, how quickly will collegiate beach volleyball professionalize beach volleyball in the broader term?
I think it's already happened, right? The reality is you take these amazing athletes and you give them coaching and a venue and support on a daily basis. They're playing way more beach volleyball than any of us did at their age, and because of it, the learning curve's so very quick.
Step away from court one for a moment because we have a set that could go the way of Washington with Anna Crabtree and Lindsay Chalmers leading 19-7 over Ronica Stone and Maggie Scott.
You know, Ronica Stone, a perfect example, right? Someone who's had indoor experience, USA Youth National Team, has physicality off the charts, and all of a sudden you give her some chances on the beach, maybe open her eyes to something different than just indoor.
19-8, now 28, set point upcoming. And a side change, players a little unsure there. You're going to switch on multiples of 7. Back to serve, Lindsay Chalmers. And an ace serve for the two players. The partnership that went through a tryout to be a part of the Dogs program. They are victorious in set number 1. And the first win for the women in purple. Crabtree and Chalmers win set 1 over Stone and Scott. That's on court 5. Take you right back to court 1. 17-13. Tia Scambray with the ball, and she will have service.
One of the interesting things about, you talked about gold medal squared, art of coaching, the T Street connection with University of Washington, all the different players, both how running a certain program and being a part of a certain doctrine. Troy Tanner runs a program at T Street. He's in that gold medal squared line, and because of it, so many different players have gone from his program into schools like Washington.
His daughter Bailey Tanner making contributions there for the Dogs on the indoor side.
Scambray, another T Streeter.
Pair 1 action nearing an end. A serve, and that's 19-14.
And they tell a story, do Jones and Scambray, about being recruited for colleges, and one of them playing a trick on the other that texted saying, hey, I just committed to UCLA. And meanwhile, the program the whole time was to be heading towards, you know, their more T Street friendly Washington program. And none of this is under the table or anything. This is all perfectly legal and appropriate, but that it was a cause for consternation on the other side.
20-14, set number 1. Jones gets a hold of it, not enough. That ball has to go over. And shooting with success on the other side. Nicely done by Brooke Van Sickle as we look now at 1 and 3, perhaps coming to an end. The Dogs looking dominant in the first set. Strickland and DeHoog with a set point.
Washington really asserting themselves in this matchup, looking like they're in control on nearly every court. Seeds are pretty close, number 7 and number 9.
Strickland and DeHoog get the victory, 21-16. On the left, Jones and Scambray, 21-15. And the Dogs have won 3 in a row in the first set. Washington only getting better throughout the season and only getting better throughout the day. They lead against Oregon. Set 2 action picking up next.
You're watching PAC12 Network.
PAC12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state. Beautiful sights abound in the desert outside Tucson. Welcome back to the PAC12 Beach Volleyball Championships. A perfect day of action here in Tucson. Washington taking on Oregon as the second sets get underway. Chrissy Jones with a creative kill there. The over on 2. Kevin Barnett alongside Kevin Wong. We've been here since 9 a.m. covering the entire first round. This is the first round of the contenders bracket. As we welcome you into the booth, Kevin Barnett, Kevin Wong, and now one Andrew Fuller of Stanford. Thanks for joining us a little bit here. And congratulations on the position, and congratulations on being here at the Pac-12 Championships. Tell us a little bit about how you felt your team performed early on.
We've been talking about the whole season, how we feel like we're going to be better at the end than we were at the beginning, especially with how many freshmen we have. We have 7 freshman starters at this tournament, many of whom have not really competed at a high level in beach volleyball. So they've been growing so much, and We feel really good about the direction of the program and how our players are improving and really going through this process together.
Now, you guys lost 5-0, but you and I were talking earlier, and you said, hey, sometimes you can lose 5-0, but you feel really good about what's happening. What did you like that you saw in particular against ASU, who's now gotten you twice in a row?
Yeah, we played way better. Our right side offense was better. Serving was tougher, getting more opportunities to score points. Just more clarity about how we were playing, and obviously going back and playing a school that we had just played very recently. We played well. It's funny, though, that a 5-0 blank feels good.
Plummer and Gray at that number 1 spot. You mentioned the potential, the futuristic potential for that group, and their frustration with not winning right now, not getting things done right now. How do you help a team get through that when there is so much potential and they recognize that, but they're not getting the results they want currently?
Yeah, really transparent reminders of where they are. You know, they're going toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the country. If you look at the results, a lot of the first sets have been blowouts, and then they come back and start figuring things out. And this is a match where they came out firing, and ASU pulled ahead at the end in both sets, but they have such a high ceiling. Yeah, really cool.
When you're watching these matches, when you're watching SC with whom you were involved before you were the Stanford head coach, what do you see that separates an SC or maybe some of the beachier kids from the kids who are just getting into the game?
Volume of competition, mostly. But the fall practice season is really important, but really the number of competitive reps are so huge, and just showing that they're going to be at their top game, whatever that level is, more often than we can be by how often they compete.
Kevin Barnett, he will ask all the tough questions. I want to just lob you a little softball question. Is why couldn't you and Brad Keenan communicate a little better and have one of you wear a different color jersey? Why was everyone in your matches wearing white jerseys? That's my question for you.
I have no good excuse. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Make one up.
It's warm out here. Wearing a white jersey's better, right?
So
see a little cooler?
What's the format? What's the actual logistics of who wears what color is kind of the question.
Yeah, we should have had that worked out.
Is there a taller coaching matchup than you and Brad Keenan?
Winder's pretty tall.
Can we get you guys out there and then play each other? Maybe we get a coaches game going later?
We could have a good coaches game out here. But we would need you guys to step in when we're hurting.
No, I'm just going to serve. I can serve and stand in the back row. Maybe fours. Maybe we all need to play fours.
You pass pretty well.
Okay, can we get Lauren on our side?
I'm going to stay. We'll probably want to televise this, right? So I'm going to stay in the broadcast booth just in case.
I'll put Lauren and Carissa against anyone.
Excellent.
I'm going Keenan and Metzger over Larissa.
Ooh, Keenan Metzger. That's still a good team. That's still a good team.
They never paired up, though.
Jones and Scambray are a good team. They won in the first set 21-15 and now 8-4. What do you do with a team like Washington when you're scouting them? How much do you worry about them when they've just started playing at the beginning of April, and how much do you worry about yourself? Where's the focus for you guys? Maybe not only with them, but with any opponent right now.
So much more focus is on ourselves and what we're doing inside out. We talk about the flow of the game, trying to settle into our side out rhythm. What are we doing with our pass? Where are we moving our sets around? Are we hitting all our spots? And then we kind of start taking very objective nugget notes on what they're doing offensively and how we can get a better defensive look. But if we start getting really emotionally attached to what's happening on defense, it's gonna kind of kill our side-out game.
I got a question. When you go about laying out your teams together, it seems like there's different attacks. There's some programs that are talking about they have a system where they do things. And then there's some programs, I think SC is one of those, where it's more like let the players do what is right for them. Where are you on that spectrum?
I think we can be talking in broad strokes about what we're trying to do offensively as a program, but everyone's so unique, not only in terms of like physical ability, but in terms of how they want to play and what kind of artistry they bring to the game. So we want to, have some broad vision of what we want to do, but really let them figure out how they want to do it. And we certainly don't want to have this like very black and white system of how we play the game.
Back to action on court right now. The Dogs are hunting here in the second set. Missed that time from Chrissy Jones. Tia Scambray and her partner Jones with the lead 9-7. So watch this match here. We'll keep you here, Andrew Fuller, and you let us know from a coach's perspective what you're seeing as this match develops.
I'm seeing some jumpy sand and a lot of really good athletes out here. Some big swings at the Pac-12 tournament so far.
The Witt twins were getting up.
Yeah, they can feast.
And getting up again at the net is Chrissy Jones.
You know, I would say that maybe the programs that are most alike right now might be Washington and Stanford in terms of the style of player. You've got the big indoor stars kind of filled out with some beach-only players. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I really like the way UW's been playing. I think that if they had even more competitive reps, they would be the real force in the Pac-12. And I mean, they're doing really well. They smoked us at home. It's been fun watching them develop.
Competitive reps, their first duel was on April 1st of this year. Yeah. They've only played 12 duels to USC's 30.
Yeah.
How about scheduling? How difficult is scheduling? How much of a challenge is that? There is no traditional Pac-12 standings because not everyone plays each other. You look at somebody like the Ducks who are on sand now, and they've only played 9 throughout this year.
Yeah, all the Pac-12 teams are really trying to make a good faith effort of scheduling each other as much as possible. So we want to make sure that we're opening that up to each other first and foremost.
Will there be Pac-12 standings next year?
Not yet. No Pac-12 schedule yet, but we're looking forward to that someday. We just don't know when that's going to come.
12-8, second set. Jones and Scambray. Well, Andrew, thanks very much for being a part of our broadcast, and good luck rest of the way here in the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships.
All right. Thanks, Kevin and Kevin.
It's been a pleasure having you here, and maybe if your team needs a pickup, break out the bear suit. You have to have it here. If it's not here, get Mom to ship it, and break out the bear suit to get them fired up.
It isn't Nike, so
just put a swoosh on it.
We'll put a swoosh on it.
Nike doesn't make bear suits, non-competitive class. You'll be all right.
But it's like a furry swoosh.
Yeah, yeah, it would have to be a little white swoosh.
Yeah, maybe like a tiger stripe or something.
Yeah,
that'd be
different.
How good are Mom's sewing skills? Top notch?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, stay hydrated, guys. Thanks.
Right on. Thanks very much, Coach Andrew Fuller of Stanford, as we move on now to court number 5 in this continuing matchup between Washington and Oregon. And it's Oregon who's come back in this second set at 21-8, and now it's 16-13. Kevin, what a reversal of fortune.
Yeah, the youngsters really picking up their game. Talking about Maggie Scott, the junior, the freshman Ronica Stone. Some good athletic blood genes. Her father, Ron Stone, offensive lineman, NFL Pro Bowler.
Come on, Anna!
Roll shot there, out of the reach of the 5'9" Anna Crabtree. 5'9" and 5'9" go Crabtree and Chalmers. A couple of walk-ons to the beach program. Went through a tryout process to become a part of the Dogs program. 13-17. Wow, overhand pass, and now you see the wind. That ball moving quite a bit as it comes across. As the wind here in the desert has picked up, and then it wanes, and it picks up suddenly once again.
But the flag's facing the opposite direction of where they were just a little bit ago. Actually, half the flag's facing one direction, half the other. That's swirly wind.
You could go from bad side to bad side in that case.
Everyone's on the bad side. Really reminds me of the Outrigger Canoe Club in Hawaii. Similar kind of wind pattern.
They have good ham and cheese here, too? I don't know if I can get one of those. Whole broadcast has been about food.
It's
You there? Here.
Bad pass, and it's another point for Oregon. This one looks as though it's going 3. 20-13 now for Stone and Scott.
Veronica's sister, Rana, a thrower for Oregon on the track and field team. There's that sticky tape that you keep talking about.
That is a specialized tape, and it is used effectively. 21-8, 21-13. A nice rebound for Ronica Stone and Maggie Scott. So we're going 3 there. We'll take you now back to court 1 in this red zone version of volleyball that the Pac-12 Women's Beach Championships are. Jones serving into that wind right down the middle. Tough one. Driven ball, acceptable to play it in that manner. Then Jones back the other direction, gets up over the top of it, and it's 15-10.
Basketball family, mother Stephanie played at Boise State. Her father Derek played at Cal State Fullerton.
See a lot of young athletes choosing volleyball over basketball on the women's side. Volleyball, a hugely growing sport, as another one finds the net. And another point finds its way into purple.
Yeah, demographics. You look at some of the participation trends. First time ever where volleyball's trended past basketball.
Past basketball, past softball, the growth of volleyball at large, huge. And now you add in beach volleyball as a plausible college route for young athletes. And you have a growing sport as athletes will break out the wet towels, try and cool down a little bit here midday. As Schwann and July continue their domination, 13-5 now over the August Twins.
Pretty impressive. Washington actually had an hour less rest time than this Oregon team did. They played at 9, then Washington played at 10 to 11.
Boy, Schwann and July with another point. They're extending over on court 2. As the first pair of Jones and Scambray prepare to come back out with their lead of 4.
We weren't so dainty back in the day. We would just take water bottles and just douse ourselves over the top of the head. I think it's more effective, maybe not quite so put together.
Kind of a flash dance moment for you?
Yeah. Except without the smoke machines.
Can someone play What a Feeling, please? I'm about to cool off. Back to action.
Drop high.
Score adjusted 16-10. And now that ball out of bounds, make it 16-11.
I've been so impressed by Brooke Van Sickle. Another job of hitting off the block.
Amanda Wida. A little too much of the sticky tape. 17-11, and this is creeping towards the moment when you start to count it for Washington as a 2-0 victory and a first strike in this best-of-5 duel.
And you know, going through the minds of Jones and Scambray, they're saying, hey, let's win this in 2. Let's not go in 3. We got to get ready for another match pretty quickly. Winner of this match will play again at 4 o'clock, so just an hour break.
Bringing back that old school element, Kevin Wong.
Yeah, all the purists are out there, you know, probably heckling us on the message boards. Oh, 3 matches, that's a tough day. It's all relative, right? It's all relative. Plus, these girls are jumping higher than you ever did.
That goes for you guys as well, all you volley talkers.
Forward you can.
Handled by Jones, gets a tough set, but puts it right over short. Well, you can almost see Washington getting better inside of sets and inside of matches, continuing to improve their quality of contact and their beach volleyball chops.
That's a great point, right? 12 matches coming in here. This is their second, so this is nearly 15% of their experience over the course of the year.
Well, you mentioned earlier, partnership had only been together for 2 weeks. Go, yeah, half the season for the Dogs. Or the wind all of a sudden gusting once again mid-rally. And maybe causing some problems as Destiny July hit it long. Here's Strickland and DeHoog, pardon me. Match point for Strickland and DeHoog. And now match point for Jones and Scambray as well. Match point 1. Strickland and DeHoog with the victory, 21-16, 21-13. And Washington is up 1-0, could be 2 momentarily. A little too much of the tape there. So 1-0. Favor of Washington here in this contenders match. First one of the day. Jones on 2, and that'll do it. In 30 seconds, go from 0-0 to 2-0 in favor of Washington in this best-of-5.
Thank you.
PAC12 Beach Volleyball Championships from Tucson, Arizona. Kevin Barnett alongside Kevin Wong, watching the Washington Huskies try and move on by eliminating the Oregon Ducks. We'll now go to the second court, pair number 2. We'll take a look in on Courtney Schwann and Destiny July, facing off with Taylor August and August Rasky. This is Taylor August back to serve, number 9. The green hat on, as the wind again gusts across the courts. July gets just enough. It looked like some wind help there as that one came straight down.
Yeah, court 2 knocking on the door to clinch. Also court 4 where mounting a comeback is Oregon. So that's 18-19 in the second set.
Courtney Schwann, little jump float. Playing some defense, perfect spot. The lefty takes the shot, Raski.
That's amazing athleticism. Raski, no approach there. Indoor setter goes straight up and down and turns it down the line. Another sophomore. Says she's gotten much better at controlling her emotions. Just one partner on the court. You have to be aware of how you affect your teammate much more. You talked about that earlier.
17-11, and oh, this is part that Washington must be teaching, that bump set over like that. You look like you're going to bump set your partner, and then you just cut it across.
Is there enough time to teach that in 2 months?
Man, if you have it in the arsenal,
yeah.
John Winder must have had that one.
Day one.
Already in the pocket. He just pulled it out.
Yes.
Here it is. This is our whole strategy for day one. Oh, Schwann unable to get a hold of that one. 18-12 now, but creeping closer, looking strong in this pairing. The Washington Huskies, they already lead two matches to none. That would be 2-0 in the duel, and this would be 3 if they can take home this set. July, physical at the net. Courtney Schwann, we've seen her play some terrific defense indoors as well as today, as that one goes just long. This new partnership, this is the partnership that's only been together in July and Schwann for a couple of weeks. McPherson and Wade are locked in a battle in the second set against Page and Hall-Pourrer. That ball popped up, swing on top of the net. Knuckles, and it's blown wide. That was absolutely a win play. The Knuckles from Taylor August would have been in were it not for the giant gust coming through. And now it is match point on both courts. And dual point. Cross-court kill. We'll hold it off for now from Taylor August, but it cannot be held off on the other court. Pair 4 done. 21-19, 21-19. And that would be 3-0 for Washington. The duel is over on the scoreboard, but not over in the sand. Match point number 2 for the Dogs here, and another serve straight out of bounds will end it for Oregon. So their season concluded in terms of team play. They lose in the contenders bracket. Now 4-0 for the Oregon Ducks.
Down 21-12, 21-14, Washington 3, Oregon 0 in the duel.
So Washington doing an effective job here in the contenders bracket. Courtney Schwann, Destiny July victorious. As we'll now move back over to our only remaining matchup. And that's happening on court 5. Maggie Scott and Ronica Stone rebounded quickly from a rough first set. And they are in the third against Anna Krebschi and Chalmers. It's 12-7 right now in favor of the Huskies.
Been a story of runs on this 5th court. Big crush down in the first set. Washington, Oregon returns the favor.
I want to thank our crew here in Tucson as well as those up in San Francisco for an incredible start to the day here at the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships. Myself, Kevin Barnett, alongside Kevin Wong. We've been here since 9 a.m. running through what is 6 matchups between the different teams. We started with an exciting finish between Oregon and Utah that came down to the last moment. Saw a lot of quality volleyball in the middle, especially from the top seeds. Arizona, UCLA, and USC. And after this one, after a few more points, we're going to have Anne-Marie Anderson and Holly McPeak come off the top rope, tag them both, and they're going to fly in And they'll take you the rest of the way here today as well as tomorrow. Remember, action continuing today deep into the night and then concluding tomorrow. And tomorrow you will have a Pac-12 champion for just the second time.
And we'll probably go get some lunch, right? French fries, jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo shrimp for sure. Match point. Defense not quite there. Second touch isn't there, but there will be ample opportunity here for Crabtree and Chalmers to close it out in favor of the Huskies. Here's Crabtree. Not yet. Should get another shot. Oh, left the pass short. Bump set, cut shot, way wide, and that is it. The Washington Huskies. You always want to peak at the right time, and they continue to improve throughout the latter part of the season. They win 5-0 over Oregon, and Washington will stay alive in the contenders bracket, and they will face off at 4 p.m. with Cal. Stanford and Utah coming up next. For Kevin Wong, I'm Kevin Barnett. We are out, but you are still in. Hang on for Stanford, Utah, here on the Pac-12 Networks. Tucson. Huskies win. USC, UCLA, Arizona. Who's coming home with the Pac-12 title?
You need tires. You don't need a hassle. Trust the pros.